Alright. Hey everybody. I just received in the mail yesterday, as you can see in the video on the left hand side, I got a X Games console, which is weird. I got it on Amazon somewhere. I don't actually remember the price. I think it's around $80 or something. And the thing is that it's a weird console. So it's a console that's it's an emulator that plays Neo Geo, GBA, SNES, SMD, which is the Master System and Genesis, and NES games and Famicom. And it got released as a 601 games. So far I've seen a few hundred. I can't really tell. But yeah, so essentially it's an emulator machine. A lot of the games, some of the games I'm skeptical about. I don't know if they ever were released in even Japan. I don't know if they're real games or they're just, playing the games, or they're homebrew games or whatever. But some of the games are legit. And as you can see in the picture, it's actually really weird because the console itself looks like an Xbox One S. The controller is a clear ripoff of the PS4 or PS3, the PlayStation controller. And all the games that you're going to be playing are games that are retro. I tried the game console last night. I just wanted to see how everything was working and if everything was in good condition. And so I played a few games, and I have to admit it's kind of odd playing these old games with a PlayStation controller, especially the Genesis or the Master System, even NES. It's really, really weird. Feels really uncomfortable. It took me a little bit of adjusting, but we'll see. Maybe time will tell if it's really good. The actual hardware itself is very simple. There's a component out and an HDMI out, and you can use either one. I had difficulties using the Game Capture HD with the HDMI for whatever reason. It says unsupported format, which is weird. So I had to use component. That's why the video doesn't look too great. And yeah, so I'm on. That was one part. So far that's not 100% great. The controllers are USB. So far I've only been able to use this controller, which is basically a PlayStation controller. See-through. It looks pretty cool. Feels flimsy, but when you play it's not too bad. But it'd be nice if I would be able to use my retro 8-bit retro generations controllers as well. However, when I put it in, it didn't recognize it. I'm assuming I would have to put in some kind of driver. So it comes preloaded. So that's pretty much for the hardware. There's a power button. There's no reset button, which I find odd. And obviously there's a power adapter and a power plug. So it does come preloaded with supposedly 600 games, but you can also put an SD card on the side, and you should be able to play the game, play ROMs from there. Haven't tried that yet. There's actually something coming out later this year, which I'm actually really, really excited about. The Kickstarter just finished. It's for the Dreamcade Replay, and essentially it's a emulator system that can play pretty much any game ever, arcade or it's based on MAME, I think, and you can play any game across the board, which is really cool, and it's only $99, which is, for the price point and for what you're getting, is really, really good. So I was looking forward to that, but I bought this a few months ago. I just got it in the mail now from overseas. So yeah, so you can choose through menus. So as you can see on the screen, you have Neo Geo, GBA Game, SNES, SMD, and NES. And once you select that, you have a menu where you can select a bunch of games. Now, they didn't actually, they don't hide it very well, the fact that these are ROMs. They actually kept the names as is with .NES. If you go to the Master System or Genesis, it's the same idea. .bin, which is amazing. Game Boy Advanced, which seems good. I didn't play all the games. Now, the one thing I will have to say, which is very annoying, is if you're within a game and you want to go back. So I'm here and I want to go back to the original menu. I have to shut it off and put it back on, which is very annoying. On top of that, I don't know if this is a copyright infringement. If you go to, I don't know if you guys heard that, but it's essentially the Windows 95 intro chime, which caught me off guard when I first put it on. I didn't expect that at all. So yeah, the menu could be a little bit better. I guess it's standard, so I mean, whatever. I've seen a lot worse. This feels a lot like, if you've seen my previous streams, my 501 games in one, where you're able to play a bunch of games, ROMs, homebrews, whatever the case may be. This has the exact same feel, except it's in a prettier box. Instead of a cartridge, it's in a box, which, by the way, weighs lighter than an NES, which is, it can't, whatever components are in there, it's not big. So let's go with what I know, and let's go with the NES. So yesterday I was playing a bit, some of these games, I don't know what the hell it is. Super Mario 14. Like, really? Super Mario 16? Who actually, like, plays this? The original Mario Brothers, Wrecking Crew. Navigation's not too bad. You can actually go through the full menus. If you press side to side, if you go down, you can choose the games that way. There's pretty good games in here. Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Although in Japan it was called Hero Turtles. I don't remember why. Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4, which in Japan and in Asia it was called Rockman. RoboCop vs. Terminator, RoboCop 2, Island Adventure, Aladdin 2, and Aladdin 4. Well, it says Aladdin 4, but it's a picture for Aladdin. See, that's the thing with these games. It's always, there's inconsistencies. There's missing the polish that the NES kind of had. And it's, you know, even the Super NES that's going to be coming out, I'm sure the polish is really good. Granted, there's not as many games, but, you know, it feels like a finished product. This just looks like somebody put this in their, like, seriously, they put a picture of Arkham Origins, Batman or Arkham Origins for Batman on the NES. Like, seriously, unless it's a homebrew version of Arkham Origins, I highly doubt that's what it is, but there's a few AAA games on here. You have Super Mario 1, 2, 3. Even the original Super Mario 2 that got released in Japan or North America got released as a the lost levels on Super Mario All Stars. Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 1 was horrible. Ghostbusters 2 I don't remember playing it. Mighty Final Fight. I don't know what that is. Operation Wolf is cool, but that's hard to play. That's hard to play on NES, which is Crosshairs. I remember playing it in the arcades. It was so much better. You can play Punch-Out. I actually tried it yesterday. It's the Punch-Out after the Mike Tyson license ran out, so it's Mr. Dream that you're playing. Roadrunner, Rocketeer. I don't even know half these games. Rocketeers, got a Silkworm, Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer was actually a hard game. Actually, I just saw Mike Matai play. Man, I just picked a game. See, that's what happens when you press the wrong button. And you can't go back. Which is a shame. Alright, so I had chose the NEA. Let's choose SMD. So you have this, the Master System or Genesis. Sorry for the yawn. So you have Sonic 1, 2, and 3, 3D Blast, Suck and Knuckles, pretty standard stuff. Contra, Hardcore, Contra 4. I vaguely remember a Contra being released on Genesis. I wasn't sure this was the one. Castle of Illusion, Animaniacs, Tom and Jerry, Robocop 3, I guess. Blaster Master 2, which I never played. Tecmo World Cup 93. So there's a few sports games, which is cool. Genesis was known for its sports games. Streets of Rage 1. From all the ones they chose, I think this is the weakest one. They should have gone with 2. But, hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? Batman Returns. See, this has the cartoon one, the cartoon look. This one has the Batman series on Genesis or PlayStation. Super Mario WrestleMania, which is a port, I think, from the arcade game. Evander Holyfield's Real Deal. Oh crap, I haven't seen this in ages. I might play that at one point. Ghostbusters. I didn't even know Ghostbusters got released on this system. And some of them don't even have a picture, so let's look at here. Chess, yay. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, which is that was fun. I've played that before. Paperboy, Olympic Gold Barcelona. Jeez. Super Real Basketball. Best of the Best, which I think is based on the movie. I cannot be too sure. Expert. Don't know what that is. Shadow Blasters. That's a fun game. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Arcade Classics, which is a 3-in-1. You can play Asteroids, Missile Command, and some other game. I vaguely tried it yesterday. Grand Prix. Don't know any of these. Turbo Outrun. I know Outrun. I didn't know there was Turbo Outrun. So this is it. 134 games for Genesis. Super NES. You have Super Mario World, Super Mario All Stars, Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, Mortal Kombat 2, Mega Man X, Mega Man X3, Bomberman 4, Aladdin, the original Aladdin, which is cool. Now, the one thing that I would notice, I did notice yesterday by playing a few games, and it happens on some and it happens on the other, and I'm assuming it's the emulation they use behind it. I didn't. There's not a lot of information on this console. Some of the audio was kind of off, just a slight second. I know on Mario and a few others, it was off. So I don't know how, but I played other games and it was fine. So see, this one only has SNES only has 60 games. For Game Boy Advanced, I didn't even know Sonic came out on Game Boy Advanced. Oh well. It's not a console. It's not one that I've owned, so I don't know a lot about the system. But there's quite a few games. 140, which is pretty impressive, if you ask me. And last but not least, Neo Geo, which... Ooh, 1944. Neo Geo was a console that came out about 30 years ago. A lot of people have it. There's a lot of the remakes were being made by are being re-released on the Switch and other consoles. They just decided to go in the whole library of games and just getting released. Like there's at least 1 or 2 games a week getting released on the Switch every week, which is insane. But yeah, it's a fun console. A lot of people used to like this console. Super Street Fighter. It says 4, but this is Super Street Fight. Champion Edition Super. Yeah, it's what it was named in Japan. Super Sidekicks, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting 1 and 2. These were very popular games. 2020 Baseball, which is basically a futuristic baseball game. Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2. Alright, so let's look at a game that we've known, that I know that I've played numerous times, and see if how it compares in terms of graphics, in terms of sound. Let's do this. Let's go with Super Mario 2. The one thing I can say though is a lot of these games, when they were knockoffs or they were on these cartridges, multi-carts, a lot of times they were bootleg and they were like beta versions, so a lot of times there was missing a lot of information. This one looks pretty complete. I mean, it doesn't look, at least the polish doesn't look too bad. So that's good. See, I have to get used to these PlayStation controls, which is insane. I really have a lot of, and I don't know if you can customize the buttons. I don't think you can. That's not what I wanted to do. Oops. Yeah, so it's hard to. That's what I was saying. It takes a lot of getting used to playing on this console with a PlayStation controller. It just doesn't. I mean, it'd be really nice if I can have my own controller. It's taking a lot of time for me to get used to. Like, it's just the way the buttons are placed. I'm just not used to it. if this was, you know, the PlayStation 3 or whatever, or I was playing another older game, I would have, you know, remembered how it is. So let's see. Alright, so the sound seems fine. Maybe it was a glitch. I can't really tell. I haven't played enough with it to actually know. The one thing I can say though, for sure, is that the gameplay is very odd playing with, again, playing with a PlayStation controller. I tried to play Punch-Out yesterday. I lost against Glass Joe. Enough said. Alright, let's start over. Again, there's no way of getting back, so I have to start all over again. But at least it plays relatively smooth. I didn't notice any stuttering or anything so far. Windows 95 or 98 for the win. Alright, so let's go for NES. I don't even know what Contra Force is. Why is there Angry Bird? Doesn't make sense. So see, this is like, I guess, homebrew of the game. I don't know why you would put that on a cartridge, but anyways. Kirby's Adventure, that's a good one. I'm curious to know what Batman this is. Yeah, so it's the one that got released on the NES. This is a good game back in the day. The graphics were pretty nice. And it was pretty fun to play. I remember renting this very often back in the day. So I have to figure out what I'm doing. Sounds, the emulation seems to be pretty good. I don't notice any glaring, unless you play the original game really, really well. so easy to press the wrong button. Let's go here. Alright, let's start this all over again. That was Batman. So far it looks pretty good. Again, the controller I think is the big showstopper for me so far. It's a very compact machine actually. It's about the size of an original NES, and just not as tall. Maybe a few, maybe half an inch shorter. It's a really slick machine, I have to admit. So if I had an SD card, I'd be able to go here. The volume on these games is not equal, as you can see. Let's see what I would like to play. Blaster Master 2, no. Oops. And again, when you press the wrong button, that's what happens. Evander Holyfield, heavyweight champion of the world. Evander Holyfield. Yeah, I get it. Let's do a for exhibition fight. Let's do this. John Bold. Michael Lamb, Craig Malone, Alan Short. Why not? Controls are a little odd. Exhibition. Computer. Okay. Okay, but this is weird. How do I start the game? Wow, that's bad. Okay. I think that's just a game that's flawed. John Bull. Rob Hamhill. Fight!
Buck.
this when I was a kid. It's so stupid. By default, it doesn't bring you at the bottom. So I always flick between SD card and game. It's annoying. Alright. Let's see. Kawasaki Superbike Challenge. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Super Real Basketball. Yeah. Let's see how this one pans out. Level normal. Let's go easy because I haven't played in a long time. Button A is magic. Button B is attack. Button C is jump. Alright. Let's go for beat it. Why not? I feel adventurous. That was lying. I know how I never was able to get it. Can't fight him yet, I die. It's not. That's awesome. Alright, so this one's pretty accurate to the original game. Just hold on for 1 second, I'll be right back. I am back. Alright. I remember a lot of these games on the Genesis. Then again, I wasn't, I didn't know about every game, but it seems that some of these games will seem a little bit meh. But I can't tell till I play them all, which I am not going to do right now, because I'll be here for a couple of millennia. Turbo Outrun.
Select transmission. Automatic. Get ready.
Well, that was quick. Alright. That's okay. Incredible Hulk. Yeah, some of these pictures didn't even try. Oh, I only have 60 on there. Water World. Me. How bad can you be? I have no clue what I just picked. I just picked a random button. However, something that I would like to play, though. There is one thing. Oh, it's Water World. One thing I'd like to play. And I believe it's in the Neo Geo section. Was it not this one? No, it's not. Let's, pretty sure it was a Neo Geo game. Ah, is it 1944? Maybe it was, maybe it isn't. But I would like to play this, though. So let's play 1944. Big fan of 1942 and 1943, so. And not the war, the games. Capcom. I'm waiting. You can tell me to wait all you want. Wow, this is taking a long time. was fun. Now for the other. So, been playing this for about roughly an hour now. My verdict? The form factor of the hardware is actually really nice. It could fit in any collection, personally. Is it a must-have? Not really. But if I would probably wait for the Dreamcade arcade, it personally. However, it's not a bad find for the price that I paid for the number of games you get. Obviously, some games are going to be hit or miss, but in general, I think it's not too bad. Too bad I couldn't show off the fact that it's HD quality, but what are you going to do? I personally, again, the biggest hurdle this console has, it's the controls. I haven't been able to find a way to get other USB controllers to work because this is a USB. I'm assuming you would need the driver. That's fine. Maybe through the SD card you're able to install a new driver so that it recognizes other controllers. But as far as I can tell, it's not possible. Getting information on this console has been very, very iffy at best. But there's enough here to actually enjoy, to be quite honest. There's a lot of good things here. Some may be bootleg, may not be that great, but at the end, I think people will have fun with it. Some games I think are homebrews that are really, really bad. Yeah, that's what I think of it so far. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily recommend this to anybody. If I had to give a number on 10, I would probably give it a 6 or 6.5. You get a lot of games for your money. The form factor is really, really good. But what takes away from the experience is the fact that the controller is a PS4 controller, a PS3 controller, or inspired controller, and it's kind of flimsy. And to me, that kind of ruins the experience for me. If I'd be able to use my own controller, and I'm not saying I would use an Xbox controller with this, but if I could use an old school USB, you can buy a USB, NES controller or whatever, if you could, that'd be awesome, and it'd be a step in the right direction. But I think that, and I did have issues with the sound as well. For certain games, it looked like the sound was lagging. I'm not sure why. It seemed to be a split second out of it, out of sync, and it seemed really, really odd. But yeah, that's my recommendation. I'll probably write up a review on this over the weekend. Just want to, see how this works. Some of these games are horrible. Although the 1944 one was really cool. Sunsoft. reminds me a lot of Bugs Bunny Birthday Bash, whatever it was called. Alright. Alright, so that's it. That was my review, or my first look or first impressions on the X Games Retro Game 600-in-1 console. I should be, like I said, I should be writing a review soon. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Ciao.